Author's Corner is brought to you by The Author's Lens, the premier literary magazine where you can be a part of it. Learn more at theauthorslens.com. Senior Living Today, home of the Living Legacy Planner, a way to help seniors live more independently and get ready for the final times ahead. Carter Elite Travel, let Luna Carter put together the best travel package for your destination. Decide to create a graphic novel project?
Well, I mean, it's just something that just kind of evolved over time. I've always been a comic book geek since I was a little boy, so I've always read comic books growing up, even to today. And I used to always like create characters of my own, and you create a history, a bio, and it's just something I've always done throughout the years. And then with this character Whisper, I think it started back in like late October, early November. I started, I wanted to make another character, and I was thinking of characters with cool powers and stuff like that. And I think what it was is that I saw the one of my favorite X-Men is Gambit, and I just loved the character. Was just cool from the jump. His power set was cool. The way he talked was cool. The way he looked was cool. And I wanted to do a character that was just not just like that, but on that same level. It had cool powers, a cool look, and everything. So I just started creating, and I thought about this power called sonokinesis, the power to absorb sound. And I just started creating Whisper, and then everything just kind of started snowballing. After that, I created Whisper, then I created his sister Aura, And then I started creating villains for them to fight. And then the next thing you know, I got this whole bunch of characters, and I'm like, and somebody was like, "What are you gonna do with it?" And I was like, "I don't know, man. I just like making it." It's like, man, you telling a good story. I like to see this play out. So, so that's where it kind of started for me. And I knew other people in my circle who have made comic books, but I didn't know how to do that myself. I'm just a writer. And so I talked to a few friends, and I kind of got the insight on, okay, if you're going to do a comic book, this is what you need to do, A, B, C, and D. And I said, okay, let me see how far I can take it.
Okay, wonderful. And now you have this out. First, tell me a little bit about the main characters.
Okay, well, the two main characters is called Whisper and Aura. They are brother and sister, Sean and Ebony Wallace. They're both from Brooklyn, New York, born and raised, and their powers are they're not in the Marvel universe. If this was a Marvel comic book that I was creating, they would be considered mutants. But in this world, they're considered enhanced humans. It's a long backstory that I've made up and everything, but there's certain human beings who are born with extraordinary powers, and they have what I call the E gene, the enhanced gene, and that manifests in different powers. So these two brother and sister, they live in Brooklyn, New York. Whisper is an older brother. He's about 27 years old. Aura, she's a teenager. She's 17, and he's been fighting crime and doing. He tapped into his powers at a very young age, and he learned how to develop his powers and use his powers very effectively. And for like the past 3 or 4 or 5 years, he's been this masked hero in Brooklyn called Whisper, and he's been just serving the neighborhood, protecting the neighborhood. And his sister Ebony has always looked up to, she loves her big brother, but she always idolized Whisper, not knowing that was her brother. Until one day, she gets into an incident, and her powers manifest themselves. So she starts trying to train herself on how to use her powers, and A, B, C, and D, her and Whisper, her brother finds out that she has powers too. So that's the gist of it. But there's a lot more.
Oh, shit, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So, how are you distributing this? How you can't talk late. How are you distributing the book so far?
Oh, well, right now I'm still in the beginning stages. Like I'm still trying to figure everything out. I'm actually doing a Kickstarter right now, to get them, because unlike writing books, producing a comic book is a lot more expensive than just writing a book. Your book, all you need is your imagination and your laptop. So when you're doing a comic book, there's so many other little things that go into just more than just writing. So in order to produce that, you need money. And if you don't have that kind of money lying around, then you easily have to start like a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe or something like that. So that's where I'm at right now. I just started my Kickstarter about a week ago, maybe almost 2 weeks ago
now. Okay. Now, give us some information about your Kickstarter, because a lot of us would want to see that come in action. So, how can we contribute to your Kickstarter?
If you go to Kickstarter and you look, type in the search bar Whisper and Aura, it'll pop right up. Or you type in my name, Marlon McCausky, it should pop up Whisper and Aura, and you can see the different tiers that you can donate. And there's different giveaways that you can win, or not win, but get for certain donations, and everything helps, man. Just sharing the page and sharing the images, it always helps.
Well, please forgive me, because I'm about to geek out here for a second. Tell me about some of your villains. I want to know about the villains.
Okay, the villains. Okay, so the villains, there are, I didn't want to do the typical mustache twirling villains, so to speak. So there are a few villains that are more on the intellectual side. There of course those street level villains. There's one character is called Deadweight. He's a big 6'5" Scottish mercenary, basically a terrorist, and he's able to alter his size and become invulnerable and super strength. There's another guy that I created called Jack Plague, and he has a kind of a bioplasma body, and he's able to discharge electricity from his hands and stuff like that. But one of the main villains of the story is a brother called Devin Lancaster. He's also an enhanced human too, but he keeps his powers on the down low, and he's a corporate billionaire who runs a tech company. So he has his agenda of why he's doing what he's doing. So as you read the story, you'll find out why he's doing what he's doing.
I love this. So, because again, I'm geeking out. I'm so sorry. I can't wait for you to get this out.
Me too.
I can't help get this out. So my next question is: what city are you in right now?
I'm in Atlanta. College Park, Atlanta.
But what city is the graphic novel based in? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's based mostly in Brooklyn, New York, and I chose Brooklyn for a couple of reasons. Well, for one, I was born in Brooklyn, so that's homage to my hometown. And two, a lot of superhero stuff happens in New York, so it just felt right. It just felt natural to have it set there too. So that was one of the main reasons.
Yeah, I'm loving it. So, what are some of the challenges in putting together a graphic novel?
The challenges is that there's not a lot of information out there as far as if you're doing it independently. I had to lean on people who already done it. One of my friends, Milton Davis, he's published a few comic books, and I had to lean on him a lot. Like, hey, people are telling me I need to do this. How do I do it? So, and then obviously you have to write. If you're writing this comic book, it's a lot like writing a script for a movie in some ways. A little different because it's a different format, but it's very similar in that way. The challenging part is securing, if you're not an artist yourself, finding an artist that's going to do your project. And then not only the artist, the artist, he might not be a colorist. So you might have to find a colorist along with the artist to color the artwork, and then somebody to do lettering. And lettering, as we know in comic books, are the bubbles where the characters talk. So somebody has to do that part too. So there's a lot of little things that go into it that I've learned over the last few months. And it's just been a learning experience for me.
Oh, I love that. Is it different now in the computer age than it was back in the day?
I imagine so. Obviously, I didn't do it back in the day, so I can't really say how different it is. It's all new to me. So it is, but I know back in the day, this kind of technology wasn't around. So a lot of stuff was hand drawn. You had to be in the same room or the same place with your artists and stuff like that.
Yeah, I love it. I'm loving it. So, where do you see yourself within the next year or two with this?
Hopefully, I honestly see at least issue 1 and maybe issue 2 being out by next year this time. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that everything goes the way I hope they go. Even if this Kickstarter doesn't go the way I hope it goes, it's still going to happen. I'm kind of committed myself to it now, and I eat, sleep, and drink and dream about this project. So one way or another, it's going to happen.
Well, and see, man, I'm a big thinker, so I'm just gonna put this out here. What do you see in the future as far as whispering art? Do you see something beyond graphic novels for
Oh
these
yeah.
characters?
Yeah, I mean, originally when I first started doing this, my idea wasn't really to do a comic book. I wanted to do an animated series. So on the lines of in the vein of X-Men '97,
Mhm.
Invincible, I wanted to do I wanted to do my version of that just with my characters. So and ultimately I still want to do that, but obviously that's a different ball game doing an animated series. So a comic book is a lot more feasible, and obviously it makes a lot more sense to build your audience with a comic book, and then once people see the comic book and read it and know your characters, you can make that evolution to animated series after that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Now, I want to ask you. I know you said one of the inspirations is Gambit, but what were some of your other inspirations in putting this together?
Oh yeah, definitely X-Men '97 or the X-Men in general. Invincible. I love that series, and I wanted to also tap into other things that we don't typically see in comic books. Maybe, and I'm not saying that I'm inventing the wheel here, because there's other Black creators who are doing comic books out there, but I just want to do my version of that. And another aspect of Whisper and Aura, part of their history, part of their lineage, is that their great grandfather was a survivor of Black Wall Street, the 1921 Black Wall Street massacre. So they, their great grandfather survived that massacre and passed those stories and that history down through their family, and it resonates with the lead character Whisper and his sister Aura. But really, with Whisper, it really resonates with him because he sees um, his community in Brooklyn uh, the same way that his grandfather saw Greenwall, saw that in Tulsa. He sees his community in Brooklyn today as that same Black inner structure of businesses and communities and people. And with gentrification going on, and that's a real thing in the real world, where a lot of outside corporations and people of different walks are moving into Black spaces and gentrifying the neighborhood and gentrifying the city, pushing Black people out. So, and that's another thing that motivates him to protect his community, to make sure that corporate interests don't push out Black people and harm the way they're living.
Actually, that actually takes me right into my next question. 'Cause I'm going to ask, how much does realism, especially with the current administration, fit
Oh
in
yeah,
with their world?
yeah, yeah. There might be a certain mayor in my fictional world that might echo a lot of the same sentiments that a certain U.S. president might have, but it's not a one for one thing. But it's yeah, it's so in the world that I've created for Whisper and Aura, being born with the E gene or an enhanced human, it's not illegal. It's and in this world, being an enhanced human is kind of like such a rare thing. It's almost like being born albino. So it's such a rare thing. It's not really frowned upon by the general public. And now, if you're using your powers in a bad way, of course you're going to get locked up. But just being born with powers doesn't make it illegal. Doesn't make you. It's not a bad thing unless it's the way you use your powers. And this mayor in my book, he doesn't like enhanced humans, and he's made a ban on any enhanced human using their powers within the city. Like, you can have your powers, but you just can't use them. because he believes that they're destructive and only bad things happen when people with powers use them. So that's another part of the book that's in there too.
I was gonna say real quick, sounds a lot like jealousy that you don't have any power, so you're gonna keep everybody else muted. I see
Yeah.
that. I can see that. So my
So
next
yeah.
question is, oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no. Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say, will Whisper and Aura eventually have some company or some friends or meet other
Yeah.
headhunters?
They eventually it is going to grow, but not within. In the first few issues, it's really going to focus on them, build a world building their world, establishing who they are. And I know a lot of comic books, a lot of stories, not just in comic books, but in comic book movies. Ultimately, it's about saving the world. I decided to make my story a little bit smaller than that, a little bit more intimate, because not everything has to be about saving the world. Sometimes it's about saving the city. Sometimes it's about
Right.
saving the kid.
Right.
So this story is a lot smaller in scale, but with future issues, it's going to grow. So I decided to start small and then get bigger as I develop more characters and bring more characters in.
I kind of like that concept because it's if you focus more on saving your community, a lot of times as you do get more company, you do try to save the world. Sometimes communities fall by the wayside.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually kind of like your concept a little bit better, especially with like you said within the first few issues. See
Yeah,
what we
for
can
the
do
first
after
story
that.
arc, really. And yeah, because if you save the world in your first arc, like what's there next? What are you gonna do next?
Exactly.
Every story can't be about saving the world.
Right.
Sometimes, you can get there, but I mean, I personally I just don't want to do that.
Well, like you said, that eliminates all of your ideas after that.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
man, you start off so big, but now you have to go small, where you're not growing to anything. You're just, Now I understand if you have characters like Superman or characters like Iron Man and Thor, and of course you're gonna have to be big. So I wanted to keep my characters more street level, and more grounded, to earth.
Honestly, it's just being. I'm more of a fan of more street level heroes.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I watch a lot of Daredevil and stuff like that because I love street level heroes.
Yeah, Daredevil. Also, I forgot to mention Daredevil. He was also a big inspiration. Also, yeah. So
Like that. Loving that. So once your book is out, are you planning on hitting the comic book stores? I know you're gonna hit
yeah,
all the big stores, but I mean, but are you gonna do the comic book circuit?
yeah. Of course, and here in Atlanta they have Dragon Con, so that's definitely a convention I definitely want to go to. I'm going to try to sell the books online, but I feel like selling comic books, especially the hardcover physical copies, you're going to have to do that hand to hand, face to face with people. So I plan to do as many conventions as I can once the book is out.
Well, today people want to meet the creators. People want to talk to
Yeah,
creators. So
yeah,
do that. That would be awesome.
yeah. And sometimes just doing it online, it's something different about holding a comic book in your hand and seeing the artwork, and it's not the same when you're flipping through it or you're swiping through it on your computer screen. Sometimes you want to have that physical copy.
As a comic guy myself, I refuse. They try to sell them, but I refuse to buy comic books on Kindle. No, like you, I
Nah.
want to have the book in my hand, reading it,
Yeah. But you know
experiencing
what?
it.
You got to cater to your audience, and there's a generation of people who didn't grow up with comic books the way we did. They're used to the Kindle or the iPad, and doing that. So you got to cater to them too. But I'm old school like you, and yeah, I like to have that comic book. I like flipping pages.
So yeah, so that's awesome. I mean, that's awesome though. So, well, my next, oh, so my next, so my, ugh, getting tongue tied. Get excited and take that at the same time. I'm sorry. So my next question for you is, um, once it does get out, and I know you're gonna hit the stores, but where else can we buy your book once it gets out?
Well, obviously, I'm going to try to do it mostly an online store, my own website. I'm going to try to set that up and have the comic books be sold through my website. It's not like novels where you can go with Amazon and find your comic book. You got to do it, a little differently. But I'm definitely going to be, once the book is out, I will be posting links and to the page where you can purchase the comic book if you're not able to see me in person and buy it.
Okay, I almost hate to ask this question, but it's kind of uncomfortable. But I'm going to ask anyway.
Okay, go ahead.
Have you came across any critics? And have you came across any critics, and what have they been saying?
Oh yeah, of course. Anything you do in life, you're gonna have critics. I think what the only criticism that I've faced so far, the main criticism, and I've explained, and I've explained this in detail, is that I'm not an artist. I dibble and dabble. I might doodle, but I'm not a professional artist. So when I created these characters, I needed to have a visual. It helps the creative process when you have something visual that you could look at. So AI, this thing called AI is out here. It's a real thing, and it's not. I mean, and I understand the purists who love hand drawn, characters, and I love hand drawn comic books too. But I'm not going to ignore the fact that there's a AI out here who can create the characters that I am creating with my words. And this is not I'm not using AI to create the comic book. There's actually an artist. His name is Emmanuel Emax, and he's going to be drawing the comic book. But I use AI to bring the characters to life for right now as basically concept art. So there's been a little, not a lot, but there's been a little criticism here, like, why are you using AI? Because I can't draw. I mean, I mean, duh. Unless you want me to draw these stick figures for you, that's not going to be attractive. um, so
No.
yeah, I'm using AI as concept art, and then that's the concept art that my artist is going to draw my character, draw the comic book with.
Well, actually,
So
one thing I've known. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that. So that's been the main pushback, and it hasn't really been a lot of that because I think a lot of people understand. Most people understand that's what the AI is for.
Well, from my history with you, from knowing you, you don't do critics anyway, so you push him on the side. So I already know that you done already got this on lock. So
Yeah,
forget them.
you know what?
So leave
And,
that
and
alone.
the funny thing is, though, in those people who are criticizing that, you weren't going to support me anyway. You weren't going to support anyway. So you can have your opinion, and if you don't like AI, hey, move on. There's other things that you can buy, other things that you can get into, and obviously, when the actual comic book comes out, it's not going to be AI. So I'm not worried about if you can't read, especially on the Kickstarter. There's a whole section that explains the use of AI in this campaign, and that it's only for concept art. And if you can't take the time to do a little research to find out, oh, this is what his intent is, then I don't. Okay, go bye. You're not going to support. You weren't going to anyway.
Forget you. I don't even. That's
So
all I
there's
can
no
say.
skin off my back.
It's all good. So, how can people get to know you before this comes out? Keep up with you. I know
Mm-hmm.
they have a Kickstarter website, but how else can they keep up with you throughout the process?
Yeah, as you know, I'm very heavy on Facebook, Marlon McClausky, also Instagram, the artist formerly known as Twitter, and TikTok. I'm on there too. So you can catch me there. Especially, I'm mostly active on Facebook and Instagram, so you can see my artwork. You'll get updates and all that kind of stuff. You can get to know me, get to know my books, and what's going on with Whisper and Aura.
Perfect. My next question, actually, my next last question, it's kind of a two-parter. My question for you is, I know this is kind of new to you, but what do you say for people who are starting from scratch and want to start their own graphic novel?
My advice, because I'm still in the process. I'm taking baby steps. Just be realistic with what you can do. And if you know people, don't be afraid to ask questions. People who are doing it, people who have done it, don't be afraid to ask questions. And for me personally, this is a new venture for me, because something I've always wanted to do, but I never thought I could do it. So I just want to take it as far as I can take it. And I feel like I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't try. At this point in my life, doing what I've been doing for the last few years, it's like, okay, I think I can do it. So I just need to move in that direction. Even if you don't, my advice to a lot of people is that even if you just want to write a book, or you want to do a comic book, you want to write a book, you want to make a movie, whatever it is, you have to start moving in that direction. It's like sitting in your car in the driveway. If you want to get to this destination, you have to start the engine. You have to put your foot on the gas. You have to start moving that car in the direction that you want to get to. And even if you're going the wrong direction, you can always turn around, but you have to start moving. You have to start doing whatever it is that you need to do.
Beautiful. Now I want to backtrack for just a second here. Now, because I'm telling everybody he's got novels, he's got movies, he's got other things going on. Where can we get to know you for everything else that you do?
You can go to my website, McCaulsky.com. You can also find my books on Amazon, Marlon McClausky. And the as for mentioned Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, you'll see my books and you'll get to know me and my books and what I do.
I appreciate you. So now I'm about to give you the final word. Say whatever you want to, give advice, shout outs, whatever you want to say, the floor is yours.
Oh, yeah. So as far as shout outs, I want to give a shout out, obviously, to Milton Davis. He helped me a lot. He's been invaluable to me. Just holding my hand and being the Yoda to my Luke Skywalker. My business partner, my friend Lamont Gant. He helped me put together the video for the campaign, and it was just amazing. My wife, obviously, Sheena McCaulsky, my wife, she helps me, she supports me in everything I do. So yeah, those are the people. You got to have a circle of people around you that believe in what you're doing and want to genuinely help you. And also thank you for having me on your podcast, man. As as much people can see this, that's the better. And being able to be on your platform and being able to talk about this, it's a blessing.
I appreciate you. Thank you for that. Let me stop you for a second. Author's Corner is brought to you by The Author's Lens, the premier literary magazine where you can be a part of it. Learn more at theauthorslens.com. Senior Living Today, Home and the Living Legacy Planner, a way to help seniors live more independently and get ready for the final times ahead. Carter Elite Travel, let little Carter put together the best travel package for your destination.